Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a great, great day to be out here to talk about some things that matter, things that I like. Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Abraham, and this piece of technology we refer to as a vortex generator. It goes on a water line, and now this could be to a well, it could be to your home as an interface between the well or the municipal water and you. You could say, I won't call it a line of defense. It's a line of regeneration, of revitalization. That would be a good way of saying it. The reason I am doing this, I've been asked because, first of all, a lot of people who may not have regarded these as significant are actually starting to not only pay attention, not only show interest and receptivity, but some of them are starting to see some amazing results, some amazing changes. And so the question becomes, why? Why are they seeing these changes? And perhaps for those who are interested in, I want to say, marketing these, selling these products, the question is, what can we tell you that would bring you up to speed for selling these products? And first of all, I didn't start to do this to sell anything. Once I saw the phenomena, once I saw the results of what occurred, I wanted to understand what was going on. Because when you look at this with no moving parts and you start seeing the consistent change that it has on water that passes through. Now you could say the water is moving, but this is not. So this is pretty stable, it's pretty set. If we make it right, it's going to simply just do that, okay? But the question is, why are those changes occurring? And how is it that something like this, and I won't get into products, this is fundamentals, these are principles. How is it that something like this can cause or facilitate the types of changes we are seeing over and over and over again, as well as in many growing areas where something like this has never been considered before? That's the question. And so instead of going into what makes this the best widget around for that task, there's a larger question, there's a larger matter that needs to be addressed. And if anyone is interested in, it's not a point of whether you're interested in selling these things. You need to be interested, you need to know of this larger matter. And the simple matter is this: by the time it arrives, whether it's in a well, whether it is municipal water that has traveled however it and how far it has come, by the time that water has reached its place of use, the water itself is dysfunctional, it is impaired. You could say it is sick, it is lame, it is low in effectiveness and efficiency. Through no fault of its own, through no fault of the other people or the processes and everything else as far as getting it there. We're not here to blame anyone of anything. The simple fact of the matter is, water, by the time we use it, and the water that we tend to use, now it may have been cleared as far as chemically. It may have the right pH. It may be, sitting down in its well, and it's been a really great place. But for all practical purposes, it is still weak. Its surface tension is different. Its ability to do what it does, what water needs to do optimally, is at an ebb. It is not anywhere up to nature's snuff. Okay? Could be up to man's snuff, but not to nature's. So you need water. Your plants need water. Your animals need water. Yeah, your enemies need water too. Okay? Everyone needs water. Your friends as well. No one doesn't need water. Everyone needs water that's in an optimal state, that is functional, fully capable of doing the things that water naturally and needs to do. And it so happens that treatment, as we have tended to do, whether it's chemical and otherwise, and all the different types of mosing, osmosing, reverse, and have you ever heard of forward osmosing? What's a forward osmosis? Forward osmosis. We've heard of reverse osmosis. I don't know if many people even know what that is. But if you get that, what's forward osmosis?
Now let's get to know one more interesting concept named osmosis. Have we ever come across this term osmosis? Well, quite often. But what exactly do we mean by this? Osmosis is defined as the movement of water from higher water concentration to lower water concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So let's say we have this container which is partitioned by this semi-permeable membrane. Now we add sugar solutions at both these sides. However, the concentration of each is different. Here we add concentrated sugar solution, while here dilute sugar solution. That means the concentration of water in this solution is obviously more compared to this. So after some time, we see water molecules moving from this side of the partition to this side. And how long will this movement take place? It will occur till the concentration of water is balanced, that is, equalized on both the sides. This is nothing but osmosis.
Just asking, just a question. The water that we are using at the time and point of use is generally at an ebb in functionality, in efficiency, in energy, and as such, it brings everything that it is involved with down. And the water treatment methods, while they may allow it to pass muster as for pH and for dissolved solids and stuff like that, it still doesn't pass nature's tests. And those tests require certain motion factor and component, which is what our vortex generators restore. So these devices cause the water to change in motion state, but in so doing, it changes everything about the water. Physically, it changes the chemistry, it changes the penetrability, the infiltration rates, the evaporation properties of it, the freeze properties. It does all of those things simply by passing through. We've done a grow trial just recently that showed that manganese levels are highly increased simply by using a vortex generator coming from the same source where on another line there was none. More manganese, same water. We see this from the standpoint of oxygen, what's called dissolved oxygen. More dissolved oxygen from the same water source. If we look, we'll find that there are likely other molecules that are produced, that are made available through this process. not to mention surface tension changes that are reduced, not to mention microclustering in the sense that the breakup of these molecules, you and I can't see them, but our bodies have places that know the difference between something that's a 50 molecule cluster and one that's 2 or 3. And vortexing creates more of the 2 or 3 from what had and may have been 50. It liberates, it doesn't add oxygen, but it liberates available digestible oxygen. They call it again dissolved oxygen. It liberates more of it, makes it more available in the water volume itself. You always have the H2O, but you have these other molecules, derivatives and combinations of hydrogen and oxygen that are very, very, they're wide known for what they do. And some of this is done simply through the changes of molecules, of electrons rather, having sufficient amount of electrons to facilitate these breakups, but also the physics, the physical force in this vortex event that causes a lot, you might say, of what might be thought of as damage to be done, but ultimately it makes these elements usable again. Some that are bound up in other molecules, and all of a sudden the forces are brought to bear that basically, and along with sufficient electrons to actually cause these breakups and reassignments, recombinations of particles. Now, the truth of the matter is, it's taken me quite some years of observation, of study, as well as experimentation, and results obtaining to get to the place where I can say those things and sound like I know what I'm talking about. But ultimately, this is just one product of many options that people have. The question is, why choose this? And I'm not talking really to people who want to sell this product. I'm not even talking to people who want to buy this product. I'm talking to people who actually appreciate the fact that the water that they are presently using, so say you don't have one of these now, but the water that you presently have, it could be in your well. You could be smelling something all the time. You could have some type of coating of whether it's calcium or whether it's iron. You could have something like that going on all the time. Maybe you're putting additives in because this is the way people have tend to address that type of situation. These are results, what we call bad behavior, are the results of lethargic water, impaired water, impaired ability to keep everything in suspension, for example, and to keep the molecules and clusters small. And because that water is doing that, there's not the dynamism present. It has waned. It's no longer there. The forces that keep everything microclustered as well as distributed throughout the volume of water, and keep them small so that they can go through cell walls, for example, and they can be absorbed for hydration as opposed to blocked, so to speak, and creating more dehydration. This is the difference between functional and dysfunctional water. What most people are experiencing is the effects and consequences of dysfunctional water, and there are so many other consequences that would fill a few encyclopedias just to articulate, because water affects everything. Water connects with everything, and if it's functional, it helps make everything else more functional or optimally functional. And if the water itself cannot hold its own, then nothing that requires and needs it can either. And the thing is, 90 some odd percent or more of the water that we are using on our own now, without something like this, is dysfunctional. This is a big, big hole, an unacknowledged, unexamined hole in our entire matrix of quality of life, quality of existence. And generally speaking, this method has been dismissed. It's been around for well over 100 years. The knowledge, the information has been well documented and in some parts of the world exercised, implemented. But for whatever reason or reasons, it hasn't been that well exercised here or regarded for that matter. We cannot continue, well, we never could afford to be ignorant of solutions, especially when there is so much support to show their efficacy. But this is something that each person needs to see for themselves, and you know the quality of your water. The question is, do you know solutions? Have you stopped to look at how, again, functional is your water now? What is the behavior and what are the results of the water you're using now? If you need different results, you need to try different things. And one of the most fundamental things that can be done to enhance the quality of your water, especially if it's municipal, if it's even if it's your well water, both of which are relatively stagnant, is to deploy a vortex generator into your water system and then have some conversations with your representative about what else do you need to look at. Putting the vortex generator on by itself can help a lot of things, but it also creates a different water. As such, you need to look at and be aware of what else you might need to now re-examine. With that, I'll be back with some more, but digest that. And if you have any questions, contact us at presidentwater.com. info@presidentwater.com. My website is presidentwater.co. presidentwater.co. And you can reach us at info@presidentwater.co. Thank you.